Morning world, welcome to Saturday 19th of November. And it's starting to feel a bit, I'm not going to say it. Okay, you're enjoying that. I'm still surprised. I'm expecting every time I come down here, I'm expecting to find one, if not all of these calves curled up in this somewhere. Because once they find it, I will not keep them out of there. But that's why the sheep race is there, because the calves have been getting out and then flying up and down the yards. So I'm hoping the race will stop that. Right, I think I'm going to let you guys out. It's a lovely day, it's very fresh, it's not frosty, but the dew out there is pretty white on the grass. But yeah, I'm going to let them out and give them a bail, and then this afternoon I think it's going to be a muck out job again. So it's one of those things, once the cattle are in, the workload just quadruples. I'm not complaining, I quite like it. But it's just one of those things. Yeah, you've pretty much chewed all that off there, haven't you? Yeah. Sooner or later I'll have to tip the... Go on, mate. Go on, Patrick. Go on, Patrick. Keep going. Yeah, I'll have to tip that out of there. Okay, do you reckon we can go through this gate without making a mess? I'll be happy to be let out. And it'll make it easier for me to give him a bail. I'm just worried about that getting mucky. Yeah, I'm going to give you a bail in a minute, but as soon as you're out, I'm going to shut this gate. Come on up. Come up. Go on. Out you go. Anybody left down there? No. Come on. Out you go. Nothing in there. Go on. Psst. Come on. Out. I'm not scratching above. I ain't got time. Go on. Oh, God, you are such a tart. Go on. 1 second. 1 second. 2 seconds of bum scratching. Right. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Psst, psst, psst. Let's go. Move it. Go on. Move. She says, don't like that quite so much. Come on. Go, girl. Keep going. Keep going. Go on. All right. I don't need that. Shall we? Coming up, you stay down there. You're ratting, are you? Okay. It's not unpleasant, but it is very nearly gloves weather. Yeah, chilly. Rip my bloody fingernail off. That's clever, wasn't it? Oh well. No, not allowed. Get back in there. That's one. Steamy. Okay. It does that sometimes. If I turn suddenly or change direction suddenly, or it's almost like there's a carburetor with a float chamber and the float gets stuck. I mean, there is no float chamber, but I still suspect maybe a filter. Right, we got to get them down from up there. Biscuit, come on, come here where I can see you. Come on, come here. Come on. Good girl. Come on, out you go. Right, you're safe in there. Race was there. Why didn't you tell me? Your fault. Okay, not a mark. So it'll be our little secret. We won't tell anybody, alright? I sometimes wonder if part of the problem with the skid steer is that this is its life, is little short jobs. It never really gets hot. Because it's hydrostatic, there's massive radiators in there to cool oil, and they also cool water, which cools the engine. So the cooling system in there is, well, it's exceptional. And especially this time of year, I very, very rarely see the temperature needle on the oil temperature even move. So, yeah, lots of short, small jobs. Would that have anything to do with it? I mean, it's never really bothered up to now, but let's cut this string. And you're at this end for a change. Okay, right, well, I'm off over to see my dad in a minute because I've not seen him for quite some time. The issues with looking after my wife's needs in this last week have kind of taken precedence, but Mrs. P is off with my daughter this morning for a couple of hours. She's off to get her nails done. So nothing medical or anything like that, but it makes her feel better. So if it makes her feel better, I'm happy for her to do it. Plus it means she's with my daughter and she doesn't need me for an hour or two, so I can get away. But there is a bit of news regarding Mrs. P and her problem. Good news. Right, I need to open this gate because if I don't, they're just going to stand there chew the ground up and make a blimmin' mess. Go on, back it up. Back it up. It's not going to be long, and they're going to have to stay in. I mean, this is repairable. This is all repairable here, but it takes time. And once you've lost the grass this time of year, that's it. It is gone. So that gateway's chewed up. That gateway up there is chewed up. Yeah. There are things we can do. There are like plastic mattings and things we can put down which will help with that. So if any of you out there in cow country have done anything like that in gateways, so I think it's used normally on like for parking cars and on grass, and maybe what it is to stop the ground being chewed up. There are various solutions and mats that can be put in gateways to stop this. So if anybody out there has experience with that or knows a company that does it, I mean, I've looked a couple of times in the past. I've always ended up sort of on landscaping pages and stuff like that. I found one system on, what was it? Bought it on a roll, I think. And there was another one that sort of clicks together. There's a concrete system, but they're all really, right now, out of my budget. This is probably more something for this year rather than next. But yeah, anyway, if anybody's got any good ideas as to how I can help stop cows chewing up gates, either of a plastic solution, a metal solution, or an aggregate solution, I would be interested to hear. So, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you out there would also be interested to hear if I can find a solution to chewed up gateways. So there you are, a mission. If you lot go and find, you'll probably find all the ones I've already found, but yeah, maybe you know something I don't. I hope. Stay. I'm not opening the window, it's too blimmin' cold. It is 3 degrees out there. That's why my hands are cold. 3 degrees. I mean, maybe it was a frost last night. It just looks like heavy dew. It wasn't crispy. Oh, come on, pedal faster. 19 days. 19 days. And for the last 9 of those days, it's been driving me mad. Itch. It is like having a flea-ridden hedgehog on my face. I've always struggled. I've only 2, maybe 3 times in the past maybe got this far, or maybe a little bit further, before the itch just gets the better of me and I get rid of it. So in the past I grew it once, or tried to grow it once just out of interest to see if I could, but it got to the point where I don't want to grow it that much because it was driving me nuts, so I shaved it off. I think the second time I grew it was to annoy my wife. Pretty sure it was to annoy my wife. I think it worked, but I think after a couple of weeks I was bored of annoying my wife, so I shaved it off. The last time I grew something, I think that was also to annoy my wife, and that only lasted about a week. So, but this time I'm stuck with it for a month because of the Movember. Mrs. P challenged Rich Cornock and I to grow a mustache for Movember, and last time I looked, I'd topped £800 on the donations, which is brilliant, and thank you very much for all those very generous gifts of money towards men's health. I will put the link in the box below again, or maybe I'll just put it up here somewhere for those on TV, because if you're watching this on TV you can't actually follow the link, so maybe I'll put it up here as well, that you can, if you fancy it, if you fancy donating £1 to the charity. It's all for men's health. It's research towards testicular and prostate cancer, mental health, basically anything to do with men's health. So yeah, if you've been affected by that, or you want to just donate something towards that, or well, just there's the link again, and it's in the box below, which you can, if I put it in the box below, it'd be highlighted in blue. You can literally click on it, it'll take you straight there. You haven't got to type anything in. If you're on a computer or your tablet, just scroll down to the description box underneath the video, press on the blue link for Movember, and it's like Movember/Farmer P, of that, and it will take you straight through, and you can decide how much you want to donate. £1, £5, whatever you want, and that'll go towards the total. So, and at the end of the month, Richard and I are going to go out again. We're going for a curry. He owes me 2 curries. I've had one. We're going to go for another curry. I believe this time we're going to take his beloved with us as well. I think Sam's going to come. My missus won't go. She hates curry, so she doesn't even like me after I've had a curry. That's another good way of annoying my wife, actually, is to eat anything with curry powder in it or garlic. Yeah, it's like I'm a vampire. It's like she's a vampire. Yeah, she's the vampire. You won't come near me. She's not a vampire. So yeah, so click on the link up there, or type that in, click on the link below, donate a few quid to Men's Health. Thank you very much indeed. At the end of the month, Richard and I will compare mustaches. You guys will have to vote who's got the daftest, best, worst, however you want to look at it. And then whoever wins the competition from that vote, my wife is going to donate £100 to whichever charity, either Richard if he wins or me if I win, chooses. So, and I've already said that if I win that competition, I think I've earned enough towards the men's charity, Men's Health. So I will put the £100 if I win. I'm not canvassing much. If I win, we'll go to Women's Health. So I'll put it to breast cancer or something along those lines. Okay, right, we've arrived at Dad's. I'm going to stop waffling on because a lot of you like to accuse me of waffle. And I'm just bringing you up to date, all right? I'm just telling you what's going on. Some of you are interested. Coffee? Yeah? Or do you want to go and steal Squeak's biscuits? Yes, that's more like it. Yeah. All right, I'll see you when I come back out. Go on in. He's not there. If he's not here, that means he's down the farm annoying my brother. So we'll go down the farm and annoy him too. No, he wasn't down the farm annoying my brother. He was at the shop. So I will turn around and go back to his house. So I was looking forward to annoying my brother. Right, that's me dad visited, drunk his coffee, put the worlds to rights. Mrs. P has rung me, she's home, but she's okay for a minute. So what say we pop down and see what my brother's up to? I know a couple of you are interested, so may as well keep abreast of the whole thing, haven't we? I'll wait for him. And him. So Michael's down at his place, putting up some fencing. Unfortunately, with everything that's going on, I haven't had time to come down and help him out with that. So he's got a young fella, I think fairly local, who's starting up an agricultural contracting business. I think his name is Anthony, and I think he's from Barclay area-ish. I'll tell you if I got that wrong. So, and they're down here putting up some fencing. So yeah, we're not going to stay for very long because Mrs. P is at home by herself. I'm not overly happy with that, but she's run me and promised me she's quite happy. You're not having a biscuit. So we'll pay a flying visit to my brother, just catch up with him, and then home, and then I'm afraid the boring old job that you've seen 2 million times, small exaggeration, of me cleaning out cattle sheds. What's that? What's that? Yeah. No, it wasn't a squirrel. It wasn't a squirrel. Did you bark at the little doggy woggy, did you? So it's a magic word now. If I say what's and that closely together, she knows that there's something to go and bark at. So, and she does like barking at things, but especially when she's in the safety of the van and they can't get to her, she can bark at them and call them all the names under the sun, and there's nothing they can do about it. So typical dog. What are you all quivery about? What are you trying to tell me? Hey? What do you want to do? Do you want to go out for a wee or something? We're stopping in a minute. Okay? Is that what you want? Well, no, you have to speak English. I can't understand what you're saying. Biscuit, what are you trying to say? What are you whinging about? You go see Michael now, alright? Oh, it's a bit of a muddle up here. Okay. Right. I think I'll keep this on the hard. I have actually been here for an hour, talking to my brother and the neighbour. So I'm not going to show you around just now because it's a little bit of a mess here with her pulling old fencing out, putting new fencing in. But met Anthony. I've met Anthony before because he used to work at Moore Valley. Very nice young fella. You got dirty feet, keep them off me. But what I did say is, maybe I'll come back in a couple of days and maybe we'll show you around when it's a bit less mess. So yeah, it's a bit wet and mucky out here. Right, I got to go home because well, Tortoise is poking his head out. So yeah, I need to go home very quickly. So what's wrong with that half of the bale then? You know, you've pulled this half out, but what's wrong with that bit? There's obviously something going on in there, and it's not the one that the half fox or the dead fox is in, because that's in that barn. In fact, I know pretty much which bale that is in that barn. We've not even got there yet. So what's wrong with this one? Well, when they've let their way down to it, we'll maybe find out. Right, I was gonna come down and give these guys a fresh bed, but I just walked in there again, and do you know what? It's not actually that bad. And they do spend most of their time out here, either this end of the barn in the yard or that end of the barn in the yard. So I've kind of looked at it again. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to be cleaned out, but do you know what? They're not mucky, they're not messy. The wood chip still absorbs most of it, and because they're on predominantly dry grub, they're not loose. I mean, it's wet out here because, well, we've had a lot of rain, but in there the floor is dry. So I think actually we're going to leave mucking out today, because I'm going to leave the gate open. They'll have a choice. They can stay in here. Some of them actually sleep down here. I don't know why. And some of them sleep against the big bell feeder out that end. And some of them asleep out in the field, and some of them asleep in the barn. So it's kind of, yeah, if I was going to be really, really picky about it and sort of OCD about it, I could go in there and give them a fresh bed on top of that, but it really isn't that bad. So, yeah. They look happy though, don't they? I mean, no one looks like they're really unhappy. That was a fresh bale this morning. That'll be gone tomorrow. So at the moment they seem to be enjoying the square bales more than the round ones, which is fine by me, because as soon as I've got rid of, 1, 2, 3, well, half a dozen more of the big square bales will be kind of have enough space to bring our other young stock back. Not quite sure how I'm going to set it up yet. I'm kind of hoping that Gary's going to be in and do the welding on the slitter, and I'm going to see if I can get him to weld me on a couple of gate hinges. I mean, I might even have a go at it myself. I've got a new welder. Put some gate hinges on here that I can close. I got a 15-foot gate, two 15-foot gates actually, that would go across there, and I could potentially bring the young stock, put them back in there. But right now, the water supply for them is just behind those bales. So I'd just like to move that lot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, okay, that's 2 weeks worth. I might have to make a bit of space before then. But yeah, put a water tank back in there and they can come home. They'll be home for Christmas. That is the plan. So if I'm not going to do that, I've got an hour's daylight left. I could go and do an hour editing on my computer, or I could go back at the house, get the keys, come back down and do another hour on the hedge trimmer. I'm pretty sure I know which ones are going to be more productive.